If you would have told me a year and a half ago that I would be a vegan today, I would say that you are freaking crazy, that you are out of your mind. I mean, I always thought of vegans as like these skinny, cancer-like creatures that were annoying as hell, that were, just like idiots. I used to love to debate with vegans on how ridiculous their diet was and how they needed animal products. I remember, always joking with my friends and family about, the annoying vegans that would make comments on my posts and things like that. And so I get it. If you're, right now thinking, oh, George, vegan or whatever, I get the feeling, the animosity that you feel towards me, the hate. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people that are going to hit the thumbs down button, that are going to unsubscribe to my channel because of what I'm about to share, I can just imagine the comments that are going to come. But hey, you know what? It's all cool, because I get it. I was on the other side, so I got nothing but love for you. I totally get it. And so in this video, I'm going to share with you exactly, why I decided to go, vegan and adopt a plant-based diet, and also, what I experienced. What happened? Did I gain weight, lose weight? What all did I experience? I went vegan on June 9th. 2017. So it's been almost 13 months now since I adopted a vegan lifestyle and plant-based diet. And let's start with the why. Why did I decide to do this? Well, about 13 months ago or so, I was having a conversation with one of my friends who's an incredible athlete, an ultra runner. He does like 100-mile races and qualifies for like the Boston Marathon, and just an incredible athlete. Does like a marathon or two like every single week. I can't even keep up with them all. And he saw me do a post on Facebook about it was like a big picture of like 12 eggs. I mean, I would cook up like a dozen eggs at once. Had bacon, and I remember I was talking all the bacon fat that I drizzled all over and everything like that, and I was talking about how it's such a good meal for testosterone boosting. And I remember he respectfully messaged me and was like, hey, George, I know you're the type of guy that keeps an open mind and that always likes to experiment and do 30-day challenges. So, I challenge you to do a 30-day challenge, on a plant-based diet. And he proceeded to tell me how once he switched up to a plant-based diet, how it drastically improved his athletic game, how his recovery time was quicker, how he noticed he could run faster and further, and all the great benefits. And so I thought, hey, okay, I'll give it a shot. I keep an open mind. I like to experiment. So, hey, whatever. I'll do a 30-day challenge on a plant-based diet. Because I respected him so much and I knew he was such a great athlete, I think that was why I was, more apt to take his advice and his recommendation. So I'm, grateful for him for it. But he sent me a couple of YouTube videos, TED Talks to watch, talking about the benefits of a plant-based diet. So I watched them with an open mind. And I remember in one of the videos talking about how, as you adopt a plant-based diet, one of the benefits is reducing inflammation in the joints in the body. I thought, that's interesting. And because one of the first benefits that I noticed within about the first 2 weeks was that my neck pain went away. I've been in 2 severe accidents in my life that really messed up my neck. And so, for a long time, I had this agonizing pain in my neck that went up to my head, just like a headache. And all of a sudden, it was there every day. And all of a sudden, within 2 weeks, it was gone. And I wasn't doing any new stretches or anything like that. It just disappeared. And I thought, well, that's weird. I wonder if it has to do with this whole plant-based diet thing. And so I started digging deeper and researching, and I found more and more evidence to support that, eating less animal products and eating more of a plant-based diet reduces inflammations in the joints. And also I remember seeing articles specifically about the spine as well, about how it, reducing animal products and can, reduce inflammation to allow you to have a healthier spine. So I thought, that's really interesting. So I remember I made a post on Facebook about it, sharing that I was doing this experiment, and I had some vegan friends who sent me some documentaries to watch to learn more about it. So okay, and so there was a couple documentaries, really 3 documentaries that just changed me forever and got me to become a vegan overnight. That hit me each from different angles to kind of like solidify it in. So the first one was called Earthlings. And Earthlings just blew me away. Brought me to tears, really hit me emotionally in the core. Permanently, after I watched that, I was vegan, never looked back. And it brought up something that I never really thought about. I never really thought about the ethical side of a diet that, I knew animals, were killed, for a burger and bacon and things like that. And, I knew that was part of it, but, I always kind of pictured like the happy farm, the big red farm, like the McDonald's farm and the happy farmer and everything like that. But when you watch that documentary, it really shows you the hidden footage, the things that, the behind that never really is talked about or put out in the media or anything like that, in a light that I'd never seen before. I'd never really thought about it. And it hit me emotionally thinking that, wow, my diet is contributing to such extreme pain and suffering of these sentient beings. And I just had never thought about it before. And so after I watched that and I developed that emotional connection, I couldn't look back. I've always been one of those people that, I've always keep an open mind, and once I learn something, I like to take action on it. If you just receive information and you don't take action on it, then, it's worth it. I mean, knowledge is not power. Knowledge plus action is power. And so, if you've never been exposed and you don't know, it's like the saying goes, ignorance is bliss. But after that moment, I was no longer ignorant. I knew the truth. And I had to make a choice, either move forward knowing that I was contributing to this, or to acknowledge this and make a change. And so at that moment, I decided, I'm going to make a change in my life that, I'm going vegan for the ethical, as the number one reason, above all else. But besides health, everything else, the number one reason why I decided to go, was because of that ethical. It just seemed right to me. And I knew that there would be challenges. Hey, it might not be easy. Maybe I'll lose muscle. Maybe I'll gain some fat. Maybe I'll get sick at times, whatever I have to do. But I said, I'm going to figure this out. I'm going to learn. I'm going to study. I'm going to go through all the trials and tribulations. And I'm going to figure out, how to learn how to adopt a plant-based diet, how to become healthy, and how to be an example as well. And it's interesting because, I'm making this video on 4th of July, which is a day that we celebrate freedom. Us Americans, we celebrate our independence and our freedom, but really it's not so free for everyone. And specifically talking about the animals. I mean, every year, hundreds of billions of farmed animals are killed every single year, and that's not even counting all the fish. I mean, that number even dwarfs that of how many fish and different sea animals are killed every single year just to satisfy our palate. And so just some food for a thought. Now, the second documentary that I watched that really changed, it was a game changer for me, was Cowspiracy. This documentary really enlightened me and opened up my eyes to the environmental impact that our diet has on the world, which I never thought of. That our diet could affect the environment so much. But in this documentary, The Cowspiracy, it shared how the number one cause of the destruction of the rainforest is not, is not cutting down trees for paper or anything like that. What it is, it's the number one cause of the destruction of the rainforest is for meat production. So we're raising live cattle, growing soy to be able to feed the cows, and specifically, right, for the number one cause is directly attributed to meat and cattle production. And so I didn't know that. I was like, wow, are you kidding me? And also the cows as well, when they're kept in these factory farms in mass numbers. Same thing with pigs as well, is that as they go to the bathroom and their waste in mass amounts, it goes into the rivers and the waterways and the oceans, and there's been more and more evidence coming out about how it's destroying many ecosystems and the waterways and the oceans and rivers and people that live nearby are getting sick. I had no idea about this, and I don't think many people do. And I think if more people knew about this, they would be furious. If they knew about how these corporations and everything, it's just they don't even care. I mean, it's just destroying the environment around us. And I know some people say, hey, well, you know what? That's why I only eat fish. I'm a pescatarian. Well, there's a couple reasons why I don't even I don't eat fish personally. Is also because of the environmental impact as well. There's so many mass fisheries out there with these giant megalithic nets that go out there and they just swoop out everything in the ocean. I mean, fish, dolphins, sharks, turtles, reefs. It doesn't matter what it is. It wipes out everything in its way just to get a certain type of fish, and everything gets killed. They, you know, discard everything just to keep the certain fish that they're looking for. And they, every single day, more and more of these are going out. It's just out of control, and they've been, you know, and there's been lots of research that has shown, you know, the depletion of our ocean, how dramatically the sea life is going down, and how over the next couple of decades, you know, there could be a mass extinction within the ocean, and you know, a lot of species of sharks and fish really won't even exist anymore. It's quite sad. And so by eating fish, you know, you're really contributing to that business. And also from the health point of eating fish as well. You know, I tested, last year I tested for heavy metal toxicity, and I had very high amounts in my body, and I was blown away because I've always eaten healthy. But what I found in researching is because I've always eaten a lot of fish, specifically like tuna. Tuna, you know, those are larger fish and they live longer lives, so they collect a lot of pollutants. Unfortunately, we don't live in an ideal world, so, you know, our earth is not as clean as it could be, and so these fish, the longer lives they have, they're consuming a lot of pollutants, heavy metals, mercury, toxicity, and everything like that, and so as you consume them, then you're getting that as well. And so a lot of fish are very contaminated, and so that's personally why I don't eat any fish anymore as well, because of that. You know, and I know Tony Robbins, when I went to his seminar, A Day with Destiny, I remember he talked about that as well. He was real big on eating fish, and he got tested for having extremely high amounts of heavy metals in his body, and so that's why he eliminated fish as well, because of that. So things that we don't really think about, you know, and then also the last documentaries that I watched that really cemented it and hit home for me were about the health benefits. I watched What the Health, which is a great one. Talks about you know, really the health factors of eating an animal-based diet versus eating a plant-based diet. And I also watched Fat, Sick, and Nearly Dead, which is an incredible documentary about this guy who cures his, you know, autoimmune disease, which was supposedly like incurable just by juicing for like 60-90 days, and on the documentary he shares all the people that he met that had also, you know, cured their diseases and the autoimmune diseases and different things by juicing and adopting a plant-based diet. There's tons of documentaries out there about the same type of thing, of people who've adopted a plant-based diet and have been able to you know, heal themselves, feel much better, lower their cholesterol, lower their blood pressure. It's one of the easiest and the quickest ways to lower your cholesterol and your blood pressure is just simply by switching over to eating a plant-based diet. I mean, even if you don't go full-blown plant-based, you know, by eating more plants and less animal products, you know, your cholesterol is naturally going to come down, your blood pressure is going to come down. And the China study, which was a book that I read, excellent book that I highly recommend, one of the most extensive studies ever in history on the correlation of diet and our health. And what it found was that in the regions of the world where they eat the most animal products, they had the highest rates of heart disease. And in the regions of the world where they eat the least amount of animal products and more percentage of plant-based, that they had the least amount of heart disease and health ailments. And so you know, I'm a big one in backing up you know, science as well. So that's why, you know, I like those types of books like the China study to back up the science. Now I know this gets really debatable, you know, especially when it comes to health. You know, this is where it gets really debatable because, you know, there are people that you know, argue tooth and nail that you can cure your diseases and all these things by eating a ketogenic and you know, a diet like that. And they have the science and the studies to back it up and everything like that. So it gets really debatable, you know, when you're debating the health. In my humble opinion, I feel healthier, more energetic, and more vibrant eating a plant-based diet, and it makes more sense to me based off of my research. But that is why, to me, the number one reason why I'm vegan and plant-based lifestyle, or I'm sorry, I eat a plant-based diet and a vegan lifestyle is because of the ethics. You know, that really is hard to debate. You know, it's just, you know, it's really hard to debate that. And then also the environmental factor is number two. And then also, you know, the health is just a great added benefit of being able to have optimal health. So what really happened over this past year? Because it hasn't been all sunshine and roses. So I want to be completely honest with you about what I've gone through since adopting a vegan lifestyle and a plant-based diet. Because before I was, you know, for years I was ketogenic diet, paleo diet, bulletproof, and everyone knew me for that. And I was healthy. I ate the grass-fed meats and the the free-range chickens and the grass-fed butters, the Kerrygold butter, and I did all that. So I know, I used to love that, and I got a lot of people onto those diets. So it was like a huge shock for people when I went, vegan and everything. And so, when you go this route, there are, you're gonna get criticized. In the beginning, a lot of people probably won't take you seriously. But then as you stick with it, people just kind of are like weird to you. They can't believe it. Some people are downright rude to you. Like, I can't believe how many people have been rude to me, where, I respect everybody for their own and what they want to eat. I understand it because I've been on the other side. I used to be a meat eater, and I used to be one of those people that used to make fun of vegans and things like that. So I get it. I got nothing but love for you if you're still in that stage. I got to experience what it's like now being a vegan, and how I couldn't believe how rude people have been to me. The comments that they would make. Every time going out to eat with people, they act like, I have like a disease, like I can't eat anything, which is foolish. I can eat anywhere, any restaurant at all, and I can still eat more than most people. People are, you don't realize how many foods are already vegan, and how to prepare dishes vegan. It's a learning curve, but so that's one thing you got to be prepared for if you go vegan and adopt a plant-based lifestyle. You're going to get a lot of crap from a lot of people. Family and friends are going to think you're crazy. They're going to think you're weird. They're going to, oh my God, V12 protein. You're going to hear the same things over and over. It's going to sound like a wind-up show. Oh, where's your B12? When do you get the protein? You hear like the same things over and over. Where it's like, get me out of this matrix. It's like, it's crazy. You hear the same people saying the same things over and over. You just got to roll with the punches, laugh, love people for where they are in the journey. But what really happened? So I divert. So when I first went, I lost a lot of weight really quickly because I didn't really know what to eat. I thought, all vegans ate with like salads and cucumbers and things like that. And so I lost a lot of weight quickly because I didn't know what to eat. I was just eating like salad and oatmeal. But then all of a sudden I discovered a whole world of delicious foods to eat. And then I became a junk food vegan, and I started to get fat. I got all chubby and everything. I was eating, because for example, Oreos are vegan, soda is vegan, chips, all kinds of junk foods are vegan. I mean, there's all kinds of vegan ice creams. And so I became a junk food vegan, and I found myself not feeling good. Found myself, low energy, all bloated, gained weight. But I had committed to this lifestyle. I said, hey, you know what? I'm doing this for the ethics, for the animals. I committed that, you know what? I know this may be hard. There's going to be a learning curve. But when there's a will, there's a way. I'm going to figure it out. And I'm not going to give up just because I hit a couple bumps on the road. And that's where a lot of people quit on the vegan lifestyle. I've noticed that about 90% of people that adopt a plant-based diet or vegan lifestyle, that they quit because all of a sudden they hit that kind of phase where they start getting a little chubby. They're eating so many processed foods. They think they're, just because it's vegan doesn't mean it's healthy. And so they're eating so many processed foods that they're getting all the sodium, they're eating all kinds of chemicals, things like that. They're getting all bloated, and they think, you know what, forget the vegan lifestyle. I'm going back to the low carb thing, that worked. And so that's why for me, like I said, the ethics was number one, because when you have a strong enough why, it'll get you around the obstacles that come in your way. So I continue to learn, I continue to dive deep, and then I found that a healthier way to eat was to adopt a whole food plant-based diet. So, we live in a time where, if you were to become a vegan like 20, 30 years ago, it would have been much harder because, there isn't the abundance of information out there. And now when you go to the grocery store, there's like, 20 different kinds of vegan ice creams and vegan cheeses, and even vegan chicken nuggets and vegan eggs. I mean, you name it, there's a vegan replacement of everything. But just because it's vegan doesn't mean it's healthy. And so easy trap to get caught in is eating too much processed food and all the prepackaged foods and things like that, and you're getting an enormous amount of sodium and processed foods, and hey, and if you don't care about that, that's fine. I know some people are totally fine being a junk food vegan, but if you're like me and you want to thrive, I'm all about becoming the best version of myself. I didn't want to just settle at that. I wanted to figure out how to do this the right way. I don't want to just survive through life. I want to thrive, baby. So I discovered that eating a whole food plant-based diet really is the best way to go. So don't get me wrong, I still like my occasional vegan ice creams and cookies and things like that, but I try to eat as much whole food as possible. the less processed stuff. And I find that, after I made that simple switch, then, the weight came right off, and, hey, I didn't lose my muscle mass. I still got my muscles. I've noticed my recovery time working out is much better in the gym. I can recover from workouts much quicker. I don't have as much joint pain as I used to. Emotionally, I feel good. I have great energy, enormous amounts of energy. I got my blood work checked recently. Fantastic. I, perfect scores. So you know what? I'm totally fine. I got healthy testosterone. There's so many myths around adopting a plant-based diet. People think you're going to get sick and cancerous and you're going to lose all your muscles. Guys, just go on YouTube, Google, and Instagram, and you will find so many vegan and plant-based athletes, just really jacked. You'll see vegan strongmen and vegan MMA fighters and runners and all kinds of fitness people that are defying the odds. So it's not true. And you know what? And something that I also think is kind of cool about being a vegan and having a plant-based lifestyle is that you're different. I don't really like going with the crowd and everyone. So I thought it was kind of, hey, you know what? This kind of sets me apart. I like to be different. I like to be unique. This is a growing trend. It's something that I believe in. So it's kind of cool to be part of a movement, something that you believe in. I personally believe that the future is vegan. And that, as time goes on, that just more and more people are going to become vegan, and that someday, I believe that we will look back, I truthfully believe that someday we'll look back at, our ways, specifically our diet, and see just how, how barbaric it was. I see, like, way far out in the future, if we're living like a Jetsons kind of lifestyle or something like that, I think we'll be, much more intelligent beings, and, we'll probably eat in a more ethical manner that's, healthier for the earth, healthier for everyone around us, more considerate of all beings. Because hey, with great power, with great power comes great responsibility. We're more intelligent than other animals and critters out there. So we're in a position where you can either choose to eat a diet just so that aesthetically you look the best you can, or you can choose to eat a diet that is going to be good for, all the world around us. That's going to, not just you, but I think a part of the journey in becoming the best version of ourselves and evolving to the highest version of we can be is not just thinking about just ourselves. Removing our ego and considering the impact of our choices and how, hey, you know what? We live in a day and age where, we're not, everyone always likes to throw me, oh, what if you're stranded on a desert island? What if you're, then what are you going to eat? Well, guess what? That's not the situation. I'm not stranded on a desert island. I'm in a position where I can either go down to Publix, and I can make a choice. You can either choose to eat something to satisfy my palate, bacon and burgers and all this stuff like that, that will contribute to the pain and suffering of other beings and also contribute to the destruction of our environment, or I can choose to make conscious choices that will not result in the pain and suffering of animals and having them have been killed. So it's pretty simple for me. It's a simple decision when you kind of think about it like that. We're not in a life or death situation. We have plenty of options. With great power comes great responsibility. So we're at a time where we can make that choice. We have power, and so we can choose what is the right decision to make. And doing what is right and what is easy are not always the same thing, and quite often they're not the same thing. And I've always been a big believer in taking right action regardless. Sometimes it's not popular. Sometimes you're going to lose friends and people that disagree with you, and you're going to get criticism. But that's okay. That's part of evolving. That's part of becoming a leader. Part of becoming the best version of you is doing what is right in spite of the opposition. Because now that I know what I know, I can't go back. And truthfully, I love it now. I've never tried so many delicious foods in my life since I've gone vegan. I've learned to cook and experiment with more foods that I've never would have tried before. Tofu, which I always thought was gross. I've learned how to cook it in a manner that now tastes delicious, and I don't eat it every day. But when I do, I know how to cook it where it tastes really good. I cook, falafel. I never had tried that before. All kinds of chickpea recipes. Hummus. I was never really into hummus. I mean, so many dishes that I've experimented with, and they just taste so good. I mean, I get, when I go out to eat at restaurants, it's no problem. I get black bean burgers. I've never had a problem when I go to a restaurant. Every restaurant I've ever gone to, I've always found a way to to eat a vegan diet. Sometimes you just got to ask, but in this day and age, pretty much every restaurant is equipped to handle every kind of diet. And so most restaurants, at least have like a black bean burger or or salad or whatever. But every restaurant I've ever gone to, I've never had a problem. I mean, sushi, hey, just get the veggie sushi rolls. If I go to Mexican, I mean, that's super easy. All kinds of black bean dishes, and I mean, Mexican's one of my favorite. Me and my daughter, we get pizza. I just get I'll get Papa John's pizza with no cheese on it, just extra veggie sauce. Even the garlic sauce is vegan. It's kind of like a junk food vegan meal, but everything, I could go on and on. It's not even hard. People think it's like so hard. Oh, that must be so hard to be a vegan or adopt a plant-based lifestyle. No, not at all, man. Just a little bit of creativity. Just go on YouTube, Pinterest, Instagram. It's just a learning curve. Just a learning curve, just like you learn anything. And as you go, you learn, you fumble. But I highly recommend to watch those documentaries that I said, so that you can you can start to understand more about this lifestyle. And hey, and I get that it's not for everyone. I totally respect that. If you think that I'm crazy for this, that's fine. I get it. So I've been there as well. But just like I was throwing a challenge at me, a 30-day challenge, that's what I got for you guys now. So for those of you, that are open, I challenge you to do a 30-day challenge eating a plant-based diet, and you're in for a treat. Keep an open mind. Do your research. Maybe you tried it in the past and it didn't work for you. Well, try it again. Do a little bit more research. Maybe you weren't eating enough calories. Maybe you were eating too much processed food. Maybe you were a junk food vegan. But go at it from a different approach. Do more research. Try to become creative. Think of some meals that you can make so that you can still get all your calories for the day, and so that it still tastes delicious. You're still meeting all your nutritional needs, and I think you'll be surprised. You'll get some benefits. You'll probably lose some weight. Maybe your joints will start, feeling better. Maybe you'll sleep better. Your blood pressure, your cholesterol will probably come down. I think you'll be surprised at the benefits that you find. If you're creative and you go on and you find recipes, I think you'll be blown away at the delicious recipes that you can try. Just be open-minded. Give it a shot. I love and respect you wherever you're at on the journey. I know, everybody's on their own journey, and I'm a big believer that, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. So for me, it took me, 30 years of my life to finally, awaken to this kind of lifestyle. But, hey, better late than never, and I'm so glad I did. And for those that are really open to diving deeper, to learn more, then I highly recommend those documentaries and those resources. The documentary Earthlings, Cowspiracy, What the Health, Fat, Sick, and Nearly Dead, Forks Over Knives. Read the book, The China Study, because these will really hit you from different angles. You'll see the ethical side of it. You'll see the environmental argument. You'll see the health argument and why it's for your health probably the best diet you should have. But as you go through all those, I think you'll see that it starts to make sense. So with that being said, guys, I challenge you to go for it. Educate yourself. Education is key. And until next time, I hope you have a great day, a great week, a great month, a great year. You know what? Let's make it a great life. See ya.